there's hundreds and thousands of products out in the market. And there's always a challenge of which is the best, which is the one that is wonderful. And I tell people all the time, you can only do black eyeliner a couple of ways. And it sells for $1 or it sells for $100. And it's up to you. What is your style? What do you like?
Hey everyone, welcome to another great podcast, Elite Expert Insider. It's Melanie Johnson, your host for the day. All right, I am super excited. I have seen this man. I've seen him around town. He is like a celebrity. I guess that's maybe why I never met him. I was maybe too afraid to go up and walk up to him. He just has this great aura about him. He is the brow expert. I don't know if you want to call him the brow king, but he is way more than that. Started his own line. He's worked with celebrities. He is just an amazing entrepreneur. He's part of he just became a #1 international best-selling author as part of the book of Entrepreneur Secrets. So Edward Sanchez, welcome. I can't wait to dive into your brain.
Thank you for having me. This is very exciting for me. Very different from what I do on a daily basis. So thank you.
Good. I'm glad to introduce you to something new that we're doing. Tell us a little bit, like, how did you get started and start even the brow industry when you started with there? Like, how did you come up with that? But give us your background of how you really began.
I am from South Texas. I'm from a little town called McAllen, Texas. And my path wasn't carved out for me. I wasn't challenged a lot when I was in high school. And my parents weren't very interested in sending me to college. They wanted me to go right into the workforce. And I wanted something more. I knew that education was very important for my future. And so I went on a journey and I got a biochemistry degree, I got a psychology degree, and I got a nursing degree. And so went on that journey for education. But along the way, I actually worked. I worked really hard at places like Foley's and Neiman Marcus and made a lot of friends through client connections, and just started with my passion. It was actually a calling in a sense. Beauty, making people feel beautiful, not look beautiful, but feel beautiful, I think is a key. Everybody deserves to feel beautiful and everybody deserves to feel seen. And I started that 35 years ago. And now it's become a household name. People want to be seen.
And I love that because there is a huge difference between looking and feeling beautiful, right? But they do go hand in hand. When you're having a bad day, you don't feel like a bad hair day, you don't feel as pretty or feel as beautiful inside when you're looking bad outside. But
Right.
but I do know, even like when my mother was passing away, she might not have looked beautiful, but there was ways to make her feel good on the inside. And I think when people work with you, you have such great energy that you bring that inner beauty and outer beauty out.
It's always been the inner beauty for me. And you see a lot of internet influencers that are teaching classes and that are showing products. There's hundreds and thousands of products out in the market. And there's always a challenge of which is the best, which is the one that is wonderful. And I tell people all the time, you can only do black eyeliner a couple of ways. And it sells for $1 or it sells for $100. And it's up to you. What is your style? What do you like? I tell people it's more about the technique. It's about the technique of what you're using with the product to amplify your own beauty, your features, your bone structure, your natural beauty that comes from within.
I love that. All right, let's dive into the brow. All right,
Yeah.
how did you come up with 4D brows and how did you get into focusing on brows? Because that wasn't really a thing, doing brows. People ignored them.
That's very true. Wise, I think a lot of ladies would go to the nail salon, and then as an afterthought, they would rock up to you with a bowl of wax, and they would just strategically remove hair and say that they did your eyebrows, and however they came out, either way. And working at the makeup counter, I would see these botched eyebrows that would come in that were way too overwaxed. They didn't have enough hair, if you were to shave off your eyebrows, you would look so much older. If you have good eyebrows, it is a very youthful, rejuvenating effect to your face. And so I started going on that journey of teaching people how to do their best brow. And I started to realize that my clients would come back and would recommend me to other people because everybody was challenging with their eyebrows. One of the techniques I use for hair removal is a process called threading. And so I actually remove hair by looping a piece of twine between my fingers, and then I roll it over the skin to be very exact in the hair that I'm going to remove. So no chemicals, no heat, nothing of that sort. And I think that that uniqueness, since I became an expert in that,
Yeah.
that's what catapulted me to where I am.
Say be a master at one thing, it opens doors to other things. And you really did become a master at that. All right. This is not entrepreneurial, but what is your number one brow secret that a woman should do? We'll say our audience is probably usually over 40. So over 40.
This is my biggest secret that I tell my clients is protect the hair in your eyebrows, because 99% of the time, the anti-aging cream that you're using, any anti-aging cream, it targets dead skin cells. So when you're putting on that cream or you're putting on that anti-aging, because where do we get wrinkles? All around our eyebrows, that's our expression area. The target dead skin cells to exfoliate them to expose better skin. What is hair? Hair is keratin and dead skin cells. And I see ladies that have put on moisturizer and it gets into their eyebrows. And lo and behold, guess what happens? Their eyebrows fall out and they don't have enough eyebrows, or they get very pale or they get very light. So I tell them, please use castor oil or use some sort of protective oil on your eyebrows before you put on your moisturizer. And 9 times out of 10, their eyebrows grow back.
That's a great tip. You're thinking, oh, I'm just getting older and that's why I don't have as much brow, but you're killing your own brows. That's a
Exactly.
great tip.
The number one selling
And
product last year was, and it's $1 billion industry, is the eyebrow and eyelash regrow formula. They're so expensive. They come in these little tubes and are about $200. But the same companies that are making them are the same companies that are making those wonderful anti-aging eye creams. But you put on underneath your eyes. If a little is good, then a lot is better. And then when you close your eyes at night and go to sleep, guess where those lashes live? On top of that cream.
oh my
You got to be
gosh,
careful.
you are amazing. All right. Now you developed some of your own line of products. What was that like and what propelled you to do that?
I am a makeup artist as well, a very accomplished makeup artist, and I've done over 500 magazine covers in my career. And I would struggle finding the right colors and the right textures for makeup when I would do photo shoots, because doing a photo shoot is an all-day ordeal. You're changing the clothes with the model, the makeup, the hairstyle, everything it just depends on what we're trying to achieve. But I started to notice that in the market, the colors that I needed for different models, I didn't have them. And so I'm going to make my own. And so one of the first products I made, because I'm a lazy makeup artist, was a powder that had antiperspirant in it. So when you use the powder, you don't sweat. Because for a makeup artist, if your model is sweating, you've got to run up to them and start powdering them so they don't look sweaty. And
And then they
so
get cakey.
we put an antiperspirant in the powder, or I did. And that's one of our number one selling products, especially in the Houston heat during the summertime. It helps to prevent you from perspiring, at least on your face.
Now, when you started this, did you have to get funding for it? What was the process and what were some of the challenges that you had starting this entrepreneurial journey?
I was an artist and a provider of services before I even dove into becoming an entrepreneur and going out on my own and starting my own label and my own brand. I fell into it, and it was not. We've been with the line now for almost 6 years, because we started it during COVID. And I made a lot of friends in the industry. And my dream was to have my own makeup line. And luckily for me, I was able to talk with the different labs, because when you create a makeup line, you create a product, they don't want you just to create one piece. They want you to create several pieces. And then they want you to make hundreds of thousands of SKUs, of course, so you can sell them. That's their goal. Because it was COVID and because a lot of production had ramped down and people were staying at home and they weren't getting dressed and they weren't using makeup, and it goes on and on. The labs were very interested in starting something with me. We had a personal relationship, and they were like, Edward, it's time. We're not doing anything on our side. We'd like to work with you. So it was a very small startup investment to get the line going. And we just built it from there. We just started building and building. And now we're located in 2 casinos across the country, which is great. And we're actually getting ready to sign with a very large casino that has 286 locations all over the world.
Wow. So they have a boutique in the casino and they're selling your products there.
So with my company, with the skincare and makeup company, what I do is if you buy a certain amount, I'll go in and actually teach your staff. I will actually educate them and show them how to put on the makeup and how to do certain services. I was looking at, in particular, at casinos because my parents frequented casinos a lot. And
Yeah.
I noticed that they had salons there. And the girls that worked at the casinos, they were good, but they never kept up with the current trends. And so it was an opportunity that I saw looking outside the box because I could have gone to Sephora, I could have gone to Ulta, I could have gone to Neiman. I had connections with all those locations, but it was a humongous investment to make as much that amount of product and then try to sell it in that kind of a venue against so many other brands. So here in the salon at the casino, I would have a kind of a captive clientele because you can either gamble, you can either eat, or you can either go to the spa and get a haircut and get a massage and feel good. And that's what I was all about. I presented it to actually Tillman Fertitta. We actually presented it to the Golden Nugget and they were so excited about it. And it was just a win-win for everyone. So it's great.
I want to say congratulate you on that. And everybody pay attention. Look what you did. You thought outside of the box, like you said. You didn't compete with all of those other people. You niched down and found your singular niche that you could make an impact in and make revenue in, and then grow from there. You could be in all the casinos, right? No matter if they're owned by Tillman or whoever. Such a great niche, and most people wouldn't have thought about that to do
And
that.
it was really because my heart goes out to the provider, to the person who's actually doing your haircut, for the person who's doing your facial, because they're trying to make a living and they're trying to feed their kids and they're trying to go to school and they're trying to do all these different things. And so giving them the right tools and the right education is the key to it all. They need to become experts as well in their world to their people. And so I was going to share my knowledge to everyone and they enjoy it, especially because the casinos are in little cities like Lake Charles, Louisiana, where there's not a lot of style or fashion. That maybe the hot store over there might be like a Walmart or something not as hip and trendy as something like in Houston or in Dallas.
And they have captive customers right there. It's not like a one-off spa trying to get customers in and having to market. They have thousands of people walking in their casino every day, and there's a certain percentage, like you said, that are guaranteed to go in there. So it's not a tough sale. I think that's just so brilliant on your end. And then you kind of transitioned. You're talking about they have Walmarts there. It's not really a high-end luxury type of thing in some of these smaller towns that have casinos, but you really have stepped into that luxury market too. Talk about that end of it, because you kind of have two ends of the spectrum. Like at
Correct.
the Post Oak Hotel, you really got concierge luxury.
Correct. So, working with celebrities and working with VIPs, you expect a certain amount of service and decorum from, of course, the provider. You want to be very private and you want to be as forthcoming as possible with your talent and making sure that we achieve the look or we achieve the feeling, like I always tell everyone, the feeling that we want to make them feel beautiful, wonderful, great, take on the day. But working on the other end of the spectrum and seeing people who don't know what a cleanser is, where they wash their face with soap, and
Right.
and telling them that soap does get your skin clean, but it also takes away a lot of other stuff too that you need. So this is why you need a cleanser instead. And educating that clientele has been wonderful because these people have really embraced it and really into their heart. And now it's like a daily thing for them, which is great.
And you have worked with all these celebrities, Molly Ringwald, Joan Rivers, and the list goes on. So tell us, of course, I'm a huge fan of Joan Rivers. I just think she's hilarious. I really lost her. What did you learn from Joan Rivers? She seemed like she gave you a little zip in the side. Confidence.
Well, I actually did her makeup when she was with The Apprentice. Her and Melissa came out on The Apprentice when Donald Trump, our president Donald Trump, was actually one of the main characters in that show. He won that show. And he would tell me, you have to show up. You have to be here. You have to, for everything that you are going to do, you have to be present. Not just be there physically, but present. Like really be mindful and really take the opportunity to make things happen. Not just be there as like a lump, but just to do it. And I think that was the thing that really struck me with her was that she was very adamant about that, making sure that you were always present and available for whatever situation you were working on.
And I like so many people are not in the moment today. They're on their phones. They're having a conversation. In the middle of the conversation, they're scrolling or they're not really right there. And I think that's so key in today. If you can give someone your one-on-one and your best, that you're really dialed into them, they feel that it makes a difference to their customer. And that sounds like what you're teaching even at the casinos to the staff is to do that.
Correct.
So
Really teaching them to be, it's a struggle because you want to get on Instagram or you want to get on social media to promote yourself, to get to that clientele. But you can't forget that there's people right in front of you. That person that you're working on is the person that is going to purchase the product. That's the person that's going to come back next week. That's the person that's going to reach out to you when they need beauty advice or they need help. They're going to go to you because you're now that person. You're now that expert to them.
yeah.
And if you're on your phone trying to promote yourself, then you're not available for that person. I'm not
Tell
saying
us
that.
what you learned. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm not saying that
that.
it's not important. It is important, especially in our day and age. A lot of people are in social media looking at and listening to advice of other people and other experts. And it is a great place to promote yourself. But in the moment when you are doing something with someone, you have to be present.
Yeah, I think that's just such great advice. Tell us about, you had some issues with your salons and partnerships and things like that. What did you learn from that journey? And tell us the story of that.
Yes, being an entrepreneur is not all rainbows and unicorn. I had to learn the hard way. I didn't go to business school like a lot of other people did. I did not get an MBA. I was more in the psychological kind of nursing and healthcare kind of end of my education. But it helped me grow, of course, my products and my brand and how I deal with people and individuals. So I had an opportunity to open a store at a really beautiful new strip center here in Houston. And I didn't know what I was doing. So one of my best friends said, let's become partners and I will help you with all the business end and you can do what you're good at and I'll do what I'm good at. And I thought there was nothing, that was a perfect thing. And let's just say that her end, she didn't keep up her end. So there was a lot of things that went wrong in a partnership. And there's a lot of partnerships that fail. There's a lot of things that people had promised to and they don't follow through. And as long as you can, as an individual, know that you're true to what you're doing and making sure you execute everything that you say you're going to do, then it's great. But in my instance, I came across a lot of people who made a lot of promises that they couldn't keep.
So the trick is, a learning lesson is really make sure you know your partner and what they're going to be doing.
Well, you hear it all the time. People say, make sure you get a contract and make sure you write it out and make sure it's all said and done. Even if you do get a contract and even though it's all written out and it's all said and done, you've got to hire a lawyer and you've got to maybe go to court and do that's all very expensive stuff to do. Not cheap.
Yeah. And even if you have it written out, doesn't mean they're going to do it.
Exactly.
I've had contracts where they promised ABC, XYZ, and I got the letter D.
Exactly.
So then you're right. Do I pay? Is it worth going down the rabbit hole? And I might not even win anything, just more time and more money, sadly, for that. All right. So you're now an international best-selling author. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What inspired you to participate in this book at this time?
Peter Remington is a really good friend of mine. I've known him for many years here in Houston. And we go to a lot of events together and I always see him at some sort of social function. And And of course, his wife, Karen, who's an amazing woman, and she's just a great gal. He had approached me and he talked to me about how he was putting the book together and how it was success stories and not success stories of entrepreneurs and their journeys. And he said, I want to know more about your journey. And mine wasn't a conventional one. Like I said, I never went to business school or got an MBA, but he thought that my story would resonate with some people and probably some future entrepreneurs, knowing that through dedication, hard work, you can also create a business, become an expert in a field, and start something that is yours and something that is valued, which is really important.
And it's so nice you touch people in your world of makeup and doing the salons and reaching out to these people. But now with this chapter of your book, you're touching people on a whole nother level that you'll never even, that I tell people, I wrote a book and someone in Japan bought it. You
Yeah.
just don't know, who you're going to touch or affect their life. It's a great legacy to leave. Tell people where they can find you, Edward, where they can buy your products and just be a part of your journey.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you. My company name is Arched Beauty, and that's ARCHED beauty.com. Come visit us online or come to our salon. We are on I-10 and Echo Lane in Spring Branch Memorial area in Houston. You can always just Google us. And we've got eyebrow products. We've got different types of moisturizers and cleansers and just all the things that we have. And of course, we offer great services at our salon. We do facials. We do eyebrow perfection, of course, where we sit you down and we map out your eyebrows to make sure you have the right shape. And we do everything. So come see us.
Go feel beautiful inside and out. So it's worth a plane trip even. Over.
Oh, I do. I get a lot of, I have clients that come from London and Egypt and Saudi Arabia. I've got people that come from all over, which is great.
I love it. International bestseller and international beauty. We have all together. Thank you. And if you're write a book and become an international bestseller, reach out to us at eliteonlinepublishing.com. Have a great week. Bye-bye. Hey, are you looking to increase your revenue, build credibility, and elevate your brand? This podcast is brought to you by Elite Online Publishing, an innovative publishing and full spectrum marketing company. They will publish and market your book to make it a #1 bestseller. Becoming an author is the best way to market your business. So contact them at eliteonlinepublishing.com today. All of their authors become #1 bestsellers.